Welcome back to Indian Trace. Well, I'm excited about this video, as is usually the case, and I'm going to call it Site Check because I ran into a fellow collector today out in the fields and happened to be Site 4, which has many different areas to check. But we're going to look at these. I haven't seen these very often, and do a little site check. And what I mean by that is I want to go through them for his sake and for just the sake of names. I'll call him S, and appreciate the conversation we had out there. It's very, very rare in 5 years. I haven't really come across anybody or talk with anybody out there that, you know, is really interested in collecting. It's mostly on this community for YouTube, but these are some great points that I pull out of one bin. Just a great look at the rhyolite that these are made out of in natural light. Site check though, because I want, and I can just call him Shane, whatever, I want him to realize that with many different areas to collect, there's only really maybe only seven single digits sites that I have that embody a bunch of different spots. Maybe. Sort of like that. That's the best way I can explain it. So let's take a look at these. This piece, I remember well, comes from Opening Sands off of Site 5. And I'm just going to say it that way. It's ground heavily on the bottom. It's definitely a unique piece, worth keeping, worth collecting. So I'm going to put that right here just to start things out today. It's a great piece. Was happy to find that. I don't even know how I'll do this. Maybe I'll start them over here. Just for the fun of it, just taking a good look at some great artifacts. And I just grab them randomly. This actually came from Site 5 as well. And I'm just curious. I think that most of my sites will be represented here. I'm just guessing. We'll see. It's not hard to keep track of it when you only have 7. And we'll go right on up. That was a great piece. One of the earliest pieces I have found in Site 5. Interesting piece. And you'll see, even with this piece, you know, I really appreciate the heart that Richard has, and many have out there, that although a piece may not be absolutely perfect and pristine, it's going to be banged up a little bit by the plow, as they all are. Some of them are definitely worth hanging on to, at least in my opinion. Nice piece from Site 5. Here's a great piece from Site 5E. Sort of a tan rhyolite. You can see every single one of these are field finds. Very rare to find pieces in absolutely perfect condition, but these all speak volumes of the North American Indian here. And this style is a fun style, sort of a big notch style. I do have some stem points in it, so we'll keep going right through and checking these pieces out. Here's another piece from Site 5E in rhyolite. These pieces are so rare that when you find them this size and almost whole, I mean, there's nicks and dings in them and everything, but because they're rare to be found in this kind of size and what have you, Site 5, site check. I'll definitely keep them in terms of collector's pieces. And here's another piece I know. It's from Site 5. It's just 5 and 5E right now. I never would have guessed. I would have guessed it would have been more spread out. I had no idea. I haven't seen them in a while. Early point. Made out of a different type of flint. Found at the Bear. Found at the Bear. Good looking point. And one more in that group, just looking at my numbers. Here's a point that I know was found in the same place this point right here is found, and it was found at the Bear. Interesting thing about this point is you have some cortex of the stone right there, which is pretty cool. When it's wet, it really shows up. Great base and what have you. Just given a chance to show some artifacts. And just to let you know, I mean, you're looking at, if I didn't have 5 years, I wouldn't have all these points right here. I mean, they're found in each one of the years and all the way back, with many times going out and just striking out. And I was sharing that with him today, that you need not be discouraged if you're a new hunter or what have you. You just do the very best you can. And just like popcorn, it stops. Sometimes it pops quickly and sometimes it pops slowly. Here's a great point from Site 4. Oh, the focus is not coming in. Nope. There we go. From Riverdale. Heavily beveled. Banded rhyolite. From Riverdale. Unique type. Look at this piece from Site 5, from Mecca. All these points are in one bin because to me they have sort of a common feel to them. But just a sight check. And, you know, a fella came out there today, fellow collector, as I mentioned, and although I never show my face on Indian Trace, nothing about it, nothing like it, that collector knew who I was, which I'm telling you, in 5 years has happened once. And I've hunted hundreds of times, hundreds and hundreds of times. And just goes to show, you know, people have an interest in this stuff, but we're not overwhelmed here. There's a lot of good collectors, and I guess we'll move forward and see how good his heart is. And we'll just do the best we can to represent the community. Nice point here, found in Site 4, out at the edge. Again, all these are real heavily ground on the base. This has got a heavy bevel to it. Just some fun stuff. Hopefully you're getting a good look at some artifacts that are not seen that often. I don't see them that often. You definitely do not see them that often. Look at this point. Site 4. Saponi. And a lot of the areas in Site 4, look at the two different patinas. Was laying for so long on one side or the other, not exposed but underground, and just affects the mineral deposits. If you can see the color change, if I can get it focused here. Look at this. There's a specific different color to each side. It's really hard to tell this way, but there is here on Indian Trace. It's a great looking point. As I was saying, yeah, Saponi and Site 4 and many of the places in Site 4 is my biggest land areas that I have, with many, many different spots. Look at this piece here from Site 5E, Beaver Point. I guess Site 5 and Site 4 are about the only ones represented in this, which is funny, because I do have a Site 3, Site 2, Site 1, and I thought just by pulling this bin, which is funny to me now, that I would, but there's only 2 real sites, maybe 3 represented, 5, 5E, and 4. And this came from 5E, Beaver Point. Fantastic piece. Great piece. Put that right over there. Ancient North American Indian. Here's another point, lo and behold, from Site 5, Opening Sands. It's a great piece. I say that about every piece, right? Well, at least every piece I collect. No. All the ancient Indian artifacts we collect are worthy of our time and attention, I think. And as I shared with Shane today, it's just because of the people that these represented. And what a group, right? Eastern Central North Carolina, And as we finish, I guess there was a lot of different advice shared back and forth. A lot of good points he shared with me. He's a new collector, so my encouragement to Shane out there, enough said. But be inspired, just keep moving forward. These things will happen. He had an awesome crystal Yadkin that he found. I mean, worth collecting. Beautiful piece, Shane. That is a prize. Anybody would love that piece. Must have been about 2 inches long. It was just vein quartz crystal. It was great. All right, everybody. From Indian Trace to all of you out there, just an easy video to get up. Be able to get a political interest link on there if you're interested in politics. If you're interested in a different perspective, I like to put those up there. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and that includes our minds and our spirits. I hope you find out there. Be well.